Hey, what's good, y'all? It's Sewell here with the Passive Income Network. And on this podcast, we talk about investments, business, and innovative technologies. And today we'll be focused on the base ecosystem and talking about on-chain finance. So let's bring our special guest on the show. Welcome, Luke Youngblood. How's it going, Luke?
Good. How are you doing, Sewell? It's great to be here.
Yes, definitely. I'm doing great. Always a pleasure to speak with you. So let's get started. Let's start with a brief introduction and tell the audience about how long you've been in crypto and quickly about your experience with Coinbase.
Great. So it's great to be here. Thanks for watching the Passive Income Network. It's cool to talk to you again, Sewell. I think we talked to you a few months ago, and
Yep.
it's exciting to kind of update everyone on what we're doing. But just for those that don't know me already, I worked at Coinbase for 3 years, and I helped launch Ethereum staking rewards and also Algorand, Cosmos, Tezos, a whole bunch of early staking networks for Coinbase. I was a lead engineer on those projects, and I worked there for 3 years, and it was a great experience. I've been in crypto for a long time. I was an early Bitcoiner. I've been through a few cycles. My first big cycle was like 2013, 2014, and then 2017 and 2021. And so, I kind of know how the Bitcoin halving cycle works. And I was early mining it on my computer. And I was also early in Ethereum world and like staking and stuff. And in the early days, that's what kind of what brought me to Coinbase. Um, I left Coinbase in early 22 to launch Moonwell because while I was at Coinbase, I kind of went down the rabbit hole during DeFi summer, and I started learning about on-chain finance. And it was almost like mining Bitcoin and staking Ethereum for the first time. I realized that with these new on-chain finance tools, you could earn a passive income, which is kind of cool for your viewers. And it was a lot like mining Bitcoin or Ethereum in the early days, where you could just leave your computer running at night. It would generate money for you. And that was what really inspired me about crypto in the first place. It was like this magic internet money machine. I could leave my computer running at night. It would make about 50 cents worth of Bitcoin for me at the time. And even though that's not a lot of money, it didn't seem like a lot of money. It was just cool that I could leave my computer running and it would make a little bit more than the electricity cost. And then fast forward a few years, then Bitcoin became worth a lot more than that. And I realized that this is sort of the future of a lot of on-chain finance things. And seeing the DeFi stuff and the on-chain finance stuff really opened my eyes to how this could kind of improve outcomes for the world. So love to talk more about that too. But that's kind of how I got into the space. And I've been building professionally since 2018 and as a hobbyist before then.
Excellent. It's an amazing background, and definitely that's what attracted me to crypto was like the magic internet money, and then I met all the cool people inside the space and continue to meet more. So happy to have you back on the show. So let's tell the audience, let's go deep into Moonwell now, and then let's start with what it is first, and then we'll go and deeper that way.
Okay, so Moonwell is an open lending app on Base. We're also on a few other networks like Optimism, Moonbeam, and Moonriver in the Polkadot ecosystem. But we're primarily on the superchain, meaning Base and Optimism, and superchain aligned layer twos. And what does that mean, really? It just means that we're really passionate about scaling Ethereum. If you're familiar with the Ethereum scalability roadmap, the way Ethereum is scaling is through these rollups, like Optimism superchain aligned rollups. And we have this thesis that that's going to help scale Ethereum, make it more usable by a lot of people. But let me talk about what Moonwell is, though, first, besides just a lending app. So for those of us that were early in on-chain finance and were using these things back in 2020, if you remember back then, it was really only a few people like me that were software engineers that could figure this out. You had to have an engineering background. You had to be really deep in computer science or math or finance, and you had to install like you had Chrome, you had MetaMask wallet, probably you had a Ledger hardware wallet, most likely. You had to do it on a desktop computer, and so that like entry point was really hard. You couldn't explain this to your mom or your friend and have them figure it out. It was just too complex, right? And so what inspired me to leave Coinbase and launch Moonwell was we kind of coalesced in early 22 when we were founding our team and like kind of bringing the first contributors into the Moonwell ecosystem. These are early contributors like Gauntlet doing risk management, Halborn doing security audits, my company Lunar Labs building the front end app. And we had other contributors doing smart contract work and design work and other things. We kind of coalesced around this vision of a world that was powered by on-chain finance, and where governance and finance was powered on-chain. It would all happen in like Web3 was the term back then. We didn't have this on-chain term, but we kind of had this vision of a world where finance and governance happens on-chain. And then our mission that we coalesced around was to bring the most powerful on-chain financial tools to everyone in the world. And a big part of that is no matter where you live or what your ability level is, because we realized that in order for this to be usable by normal people, it has to be accessible on a mobile phone, not on a desktop computer. It needs to meet people in their native language, whether you live in South America or in Africa or in Asia. And much of the world, in like Nigeria, for example, has a ton of crypto users, but most of them use it on their mobile phone. And there are a lot of really smart people that want to build things, build cool crypto apps, but they don't largely have like, landline infrastructure. It's all mobile, right? In Nigeria and in South America and places like that. So we wanted to build a new version of on-chain finance, if you will, that was just easy and accessible and easy to use. And that's what we've been building for the last 3 years almost.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great breakdown, especially when you bring up these other countries that are mobile based. So I'm happy to see the transition because I remember too using like what's it called, extensions and things like that for the wallets to go use all these apps. I had to run back home to try to make sure I'm good in my liquidity pools. So I think the future is definitely mobile, and that Coinbase smart wallet, especially with the iPhone, it was a amazing idea. Make everything accessible, easy face scan. So the purpose of Moonwell basically is to build and explore on-chain finance. Can we talk about some of those like tools that you need to even kind of build on-chain finance and what direction we're kind of going as a whole, crypto community?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, one of the best things about these on-chain finance tools, and this is why they were so powerful for early users, early adopters like us, is that they let you do things with your crypto in the real world that you could never do before. So for example, we think a lot about people and who's our user persona, right, in a community. The first use case was people like me that were early Bitcoiners and didn't want to sell our coins, right? Or early Ethereum, maybe you were in the Ethereum ICO back in 2014. You didn't want to sell your coins because Ethereum keeps going up. And so for those people, like, sure, you could be Bitcoin rich, but you can't be real world rich, right? And you don't want to sell your coins. You want to hold them because you have a belief that they're going to be worth more in 5 or 10 years from now. And that's sort of played itself out over the last decade plus. But you do want to shop, and you do want to, help your, friends and family, or your make your life better, right? You might want to, maybe it's like you want to rent a nicer apartment, or maybe you want to buy a nicer car, or maybe you just want to, send your kids to a better school, or pay for tuition to college. So for those users, we allow you a very simple experience where you can simply take your Bitcoin from Coinbase. You can send it to Base into an on-chain wallet that's usable on your mobile phone, whether it's Coinbase mobile wallet, like in the App Store, or the new smart wallet you just mentioned, where you don't have to install any apps or extensions. And then you can simply, in a few seconds, in a few taps, you can supply that on Moonwell and then borrow a stable coin like USD coin against it. And now you can use your crypto in the real world. And recently we just launched a new Visa debit card in partnership with Cypher. That just launched on December 9th. And that's the product I always wanted for like a decade as a crypto OG. Like I always wanted the ability to borrow against my Bitcoin and then load the card up with stable coins, then go shop and not have to sell my coins.
Egg, a quite astonishing commodity, the cause of your desire. Egg, which fills the inner void. Egg. Egg.
Eggs are pretty epic, but you know what's more epic? Paying for them with crypto. Borrow, earn, and now pay with Moonwell.
And so that gives those power users, the early users, the early adopters, the people coming from Coinbase that might have bought Bitcoin a few years ago when it was like 20K or maybe 50K, and now they're seeing it at almost 100K. Those people want the ability to shop without selling their coins, okay? And then there's another category of user we think a lot about, and this is more core to the Moonwell vision and mission, because if we're just building these tools for like a few rich crypto bros, what are we really doing this for, right? That's not our mission and vision, right? So that is the person, this user persona is someone that lives in a country like Argentina or Brazil or Nigeria, where they want to, they may not have a bank account. In fact, 40% of people in Brazil don't even have a bank account. 3 of our developers are in Brazil. And so as Moonwell Foundation is able to pay them with stablecoins in USD coin. But for most of the people in that developing part of the world, there are a lot of really brilliant developers, not even like tech people, but also just really smart people that want to work for US companies or want to work for crypto companies. And they're able to do that because crypto companies can pay them in stablecoins. But if you want to get a job, let's say you're a nurse in Argentina and you want to get a job for an American healthcare company, maybe reviewing prescription records to make sure they're accurate, so the doctors didn't write a mistake down or something, right? So American healthcare companies would love to hire a really smart nurse in Argentina, but they can't today because they can't pay her in Argentinian pesos. When you get a job for a US company, you basically have to do your direct deposit, which means you have to have a US bank account, and you have to have a you have to give the payroll team like your account number and your routing number, and then they'll direct deposit dollars into your account every day. So what I'm really excited to kind of announce, and maybe this is alpha for your viewers, is that in early 2025, this is coming in just the first couple months of the year, we should have it live. Not only will you have the Visa debit card that person in Argentina can get to shop with stablecoins because they want to shop with stablecoins. They don't want to hold Argentinian pesos or the local currency that's being inflated. And they want to hold US dollars, they want to hold Tether, they want to hold USDC. They can shop with a debit card, but then they can also get a US bank account from the Moonwell app directly. This is coming really soon. We were already working with Bridge, amazing company that was just acquired by Stripe for $1.1 billion. But you'll be able to go to the Moonwell app in a few minutes, do a KYC check, get a US bank account as a person living in Argentina, Brazil, pretty much anywhere in the world except for sanctioned countries like Venezuela or Cuba or North Korea or Iran or Russia, right? So as long as you don't live in one of those sanctioned countries, a partner bank in America will issue a free US checking account to that nurse living in Argentina. This is why it's so core to our mission and vision, right? And now she can go apply for a job at a US healthcare company. There's probably a ton of knowledge workers that might do things like office documents, spreadsheets and stuff. They can now go apply for US jobs, and those US companies would love to hire them. Maybe they pay her $1,000 a month, which is very low wage here in the US, but it's probably a very good wage in Argentina. And what happens on the back end, this is why I'm so excited about it, is every month or every 2 weeks when her direct deposit hits that bank account, you might ask yourself, like, how does she even spend that money? It's in a US bank account, right? So what Bridge does, and this is why Stripe paid $1.1 billion for them, they've built the tech. They have all the money transmitter licenses in all 50 states. They've gone through all the compliance and regulatory checks to make sure that this is compliant with the US banking laws. They will convert, as soon as that direct deposit lands in her checking account, they will convert it into stablecoins, and they will send the USDC or Tether directly to her wallet, her self-custodial wallet. Okay. And then on the Moonwell side, we have some really cool tech we're developing that will deposit those stablecoins immediately into a Moonwell flagship USDC vault, or on other networks like Optimism, we can deposit into a Moonwell flagship Tether vault, right? Because Tether there's more liquidity on Optimism than there is on Base. And then that means now that that nurse in Argentina can get paid in stablecoins, which is what she wants anyways. There are people on the street corner in Argentina that will convert your pesos into Tether and send it to your wallet. They charge about 10% for that, but the partner bank only charges 0.4% for that conversion. So that's basically for $10, that's 4 cents, So it's really attractive. Or $100, that's 40 cents, right? She's only paying $4 for conversion per month for her $1,000 check. She's getting paid in stablecoins, which is what she wants anyways. And now she can transact with her self-custody wallet. She doesn't have to trust Coinbase or anyone like that with her coins, and go shop with the Visa debit card at local merchants. And so once that arrives next year, we'll have the full circle of the life cycle that is going to make, in my humble opinion, this is going to make remote work 10x globally, because it's not just crypto now, it's everything. Any job that can be done remote can now get a US bank account and get paid by a US company. So did I just blow your mind or what?
No, you did, because I got a lot of things there. That's massive, because we'll start with this, like traveling, going to different countries, you can now just straight up stay on chain and load your car. Yeah, because I've traveled and you got to do all the conversions and figure out who takes the dollar and all these different things. And we know the world mostly wants to use the US dollar anyway, for the most part, from what my experience is, most powerful currency. So I think, for one, it helps the United States dollar out to spread even more. And then, like you said, like the nurse in Argentina, she now has access to the same pretty much stuff that we have access to, which does allow a lot of freedom to do what you need to do there. And then you got a stronger currency. I can call my mom and tell her that my magic internet money, I can actually spend it in the real world now, you know? And so that was always something that I always wanted to crypto to head that direction, is like, how do we spend it? And of course, we don't want to spend our Bitcoin, our Ethereum, or our other assets that are going up. We want to spend the stable coins. And I think that always makes the most sense. So we got that built-in payment processor with just a phone and some internet. That's it. That's amazing.
100%. You got it.
Yeah.
You understand it.
Yeah.
And so the whole way we're kind of thinking about this is, in order for these products to actually work, and this is the hard work that all the contributors do in the Moonwell ecosystem, like the brilliant devs we have in Brazil, we have community managers and local content creation communities that are translating the Moonwell app into different languages. You know, right now the Moonwell app is translating to Spanish, Portuguese, Korean, and Chinese, because there's a whole bunch of people in all those areas that would want to use Moonwell. Now, we may not be able to issue US bank accounts to people in China. I'm not sure all the geo restrictions there, but
sure.
Eventually, hopefully, our hope is that, like, you know, these things are more broadly accessible, and this also increases like US dollar adoption. So it's probably good for the American government too. And like,
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I think we probably would rather see the world adopt like the US dollar in decentralized stablecoins than something like, you know, a China's central bank digital currency or something like that, right? So
yeah.
And so we're really excited about that. But then the thing is that makes me so excited, like, it's also great for those digital nomads, like you said, people that want to just go work in a different location for a few months every year and bring your card with you. Our partner Cypher actually built for that use case, because they have really cool controls where you can say, like, okay, let's say I'm in Singapore for Token 2049 next year. I can just turn on Singapore, but I can turn off international when I'm not traveling, right? So that way, if I lose my card, someone steals my card online, like, it doesn't, you know, drain my debit card. And we put a lot of thought into, like, how do we make these things safe? So, for example, the auto load experience, which auto load is an innovative feature we launched, where, you know, that nurse can shop with her card and maybe keep $100 on a card, a couple $100. Whenever it falls below like $50, we'll automatically reload the card. Our card partner will reach out, pull the vault tokens out of her wallet, and then withdraw them from the vault, send the USDC to Circle for the mint account, and then off ramp it to the partner bank in Hong Kong that loads the card. That all happens in about 3 minutes. But in order to make that safe and make it self-custodial, so that the vault tokens or the USDC or the Tether is always in your self-custodial wallet until it gets loaded, we had to come up with some innovative technology. And that's what Moonwell contributors, like one of our contributors in Brazil, actually created that special. It's basically, you think of it as like a firewall between, it's a smart contract, it's a firewall between the card issuer and your wallet, right? Like your smart wallet, right? Mm-hmm. So most of the time, you might keep your life savings in that vault earning a yield, right? And then maybe you can set whatever you want. You say, I want to spend no more than $200 a day. I want to load the card no more than $200 a day. So that way, when the card issuer, if they try to load more, it'll block that from happening in a single day. So that means that helps protect people that have these products, because if you lose your card at a store, or maybe your card gets stolen online, you don't want to drain your life savings, right? The most they could take is $200, because that's a common problem with these crypto debit cards, is that if you lose it, someone goes shopping with it, your money's kind of gone, right? And so, so you want to kind of protect people when you think about building these products, and they need to be self-custodial, because if they're custodial, like if you're a central exchange and you build a product like this and you take custody of the user's coins, well, you're probably going to be sued by some regulator, because they're like, now you're self-custodial, you look like a bank, right? And so our whole approach in the Moonwell community is we build decentralized on-chain products where there is we never take custody of user funds. The partner bank does, because they have to load your card, right? The partner bank in Hong Kong. But in the Moonwell community, none of our smart contract systems are custodial. They're all self-custodial, meaning I put USDC into the vault and I get back a vault token. That vault token stays in my wallet, and you could think of it like a coat check claim ticket to come get your USDC back from the vault. And that vault is immutable. So even the Morpho DAO that we partnered with Morpho for the vaults, even the Morpho DAO can't rug user funds. That's really important. So now some of our contracts are upgradable, like our core markets, like for the early Bitcoin user, where you're like, I want to supply Bitcoin, I want to borrow a stablecoin against it. Those are upgradable contracts. They're based on compound or Aave style markets, right? And so those markets are upgradable, but they are governed by a DAO that consists of over 100,000 well token holders. So that allows us as a community, all the token holders in the ecosystem, all the contributors, all the partners, all the people that are like devs that are vesting tokens, can kind of come together and decide and agree, like, hey, do we want to upgrade these and add this new feature? But the core vault primitive, which is the most important part of the system for that, nurse in Argentina, is immutable and governance minimized, meaning the only person that has a role in that is a risk curator that decides how much to lend out to different blue chip markets. Like they're lending out to people that want to borrow USDC against ETH, people that want to borrow USDC against Lido staked ETH, people that want to borrow USDC against Bitcoin, CBBTC, right, coming from Coinbase. There's an isolated market on Morpho that Bitcoin borrowers from Coinbase will probably want to borrow against. And so that's how you earn the yield, because people often ask, where does the yield come from? But the yield comes from our risk curator, which is Block Analytic and B Protocol. They're a part of the community. They were voted in through governance, and they get to set those supply caps to keep your vault funds safe while generating a lending interest. And then, so that's kind of where it comes from.
So, that's always the question, is where the yields come from. So that's a great breakdown. I do want to ask two other things. So say for that person, because I get this question from friends and family who's like not really into crypto. What about like vulnerabilities? Can you speak on the security of Moonwell, and then like I guess a simple for dummies explanation of what a smart contract is?
Sure. Yeah. So smart contract is, you can think of it as a piece of code that runs on the blockchain in this case, it's on Base, Coinbase's layer 2 network. And that piece of code just defines like what are the rules of this contract system. So the way that the core markets work is like a peer-to-peer lending contract, right? Where it's not a contract between you and Moonwell, or a contract between you and some company like Coinbase, right? It's basically, you could either be a lender or a supplier, we call it. You could come in and supply your Bitcoin or your stablecoins or whatever it is. And then other people, your Bitcoin or your stablecoins will stay in that contract. And then other people can come in and borrow against that, borrow those assets, but only if they've also put some of their own collateral that would be more valuable than that thing that they want to borrow, right? And so the contract just defines the rules of the road. It says you can only borrow if you're also lending, right? And so that allows those early Bitcoiners to put their Bitcoin in and then borrow some stable coins out. But the contract system has been battle hardened over the last 3 years. We have multiple audits, including competitive audits, where you get thousands of security engineers that actually we had a $140,000 prize pool for people that can find any vulnerabilities, even minor ones. Like there were no high vulnerabilities. High vulnerabilities typically is something that would result in loss of funds. But the only ones they found were like lows and mediums and informational ones that are more like, just be careful kind of things. And then just to speak to how secure Moonwell is, Moonwell's will be operating for 3 years in February, so almost 3 years now. And in 3 years, there's never been a single smart contract hack or vulnerability that has led to a loss of user funds. So that's a track record we take extremely seriously. That's why we have multiple audits. And we also have a bug bounty program with Immunify, where security researchers can get paid up to $250,000 just to report if they find something, so they can get paid for finding that before, turning to the dark side and taking money out of the contracts. But
amazing. That's amazing.
And in also 3 years of operation, we've never paid a bounty that would have resulted in loss of funds. We've only paid like informational bounties. And then we also take the front end security really seriously on the app itself, like the website, basically, because if that gets hacked, you might go to a website that tries to drain your wallet. We have a really good solution for that. It's called a progressive web app. And so what that means is when you go to the Moonwell app, just go to moonwell.fi on your phone, click get your card. If you want to get a card, it's free. And then you can load that thing into Google Pay or Apple Pay in 3 minutes and go shopping with your coins. But basically, you can click the little share icon at the bottom of your Safari browser or your Chrome and click add to home screen. And then you can have the Moonwell icon right on your home screen. So you don't even have to type in Moonwell, like the address moonwell.fi on your phone, or, just use that shortcut on your home screen. And you always know you're getting the real Moonwell app. You're not getting tricked into going to some wallet drainer site because you know how people will share links on Twitter and X, and they're like, click here for the free airdrop. There's no airdrop, by the way. Those are always a scam.
No airdrop, y'all. No airdrop. And for the audience too, make sure y'all share this. This last few minutes, I think, was very, very educational. So make sure y'all share this with the friends and the fam. With the card, physical and digital?
That's a great question. So right now you can get digital. We literally started working just to show you how fast the Moonwell community iterates. Cypher is the card partner. They're a brand new contributor in the Moonwell community. We met them. We met them a year ago because a lot of our devs in Brazil are already using the Cypher card since last year. They have their own card, but we met up with them in mid-October and we said, let's partner on a Moonwell card and make it better than even, with the auto load feature and with the borrow and load feature built into the app. We want to make it better because a lot of their users were using money markets anyways, and then borrowing it and then loading it manually. And our devs in Brazil were all getting paid in USDC and then loading the card so they could shop. So we wanted to offer that. In like 6 weeks, we built the product and we launched on December 9th. And part of that process involves a Visa approval process. Visa has to approve the card design, right? They want to make sure you're not doing, maybe you're not doing like a Disney card or something that's going to infringe on Disney, because the Mickey Mouse cards are really popular. They want to make sure you're not doing that. So they approved the digital designs, and they've also approved the physical designs, but it takes them longer to print the physical cards onto plastic or metal. There will be a premium card on metal that you can subscribe to. It'll have some cool features. Those will be available in January, and then you'll be able to order a physical card as well. But right now, if you want to get the card, you can get it in a few minutes with the KYC check. You can load it into Google and Apple Pay, and you can use the digital card online, and you can go shop with Google or Apple Pay anywhere that tap to pay is accepted. And we've seen some really cool videos. I don't know if you've seen some of these on X or Twitter or on social media with people, all kinds of cool use cases. I saw someone in New York City tapping into the MTA, that's the subway, with their Apple Watch, just boom, tap and go into the subway without even having to swipe your MTA Easy Pass or whatever I forget what it's called. And then I saw people in Argentina buying coffee at a coffee shop with it. I saw another person in Argentina buying a drink at a bar. I saw a guy in Brazil buying a beer. We're getting all these cool videos from people all over the place that are just out there in the real world shopping. And like, I'm blown away by how many people in Argentina love this thing. I mean, we really want to offer like the Tether version because Tether is more popular than USDC in a lot of these countries, especially like Nigeria. Tether on Tron is really popular. But we think that the Tether version on Optimism mainnet, for example, would be really popular. So we'll probably add support for that in a few weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that's amazing. It's happening. We're here in the future. On-chain finance is right now, and that's very positive. And like we said, it looks like the U.S. Regulations are, starting to lean in the right direction. They're liking Bitcoin more, and then of course, if they get good education on what's going on here with Moonwell, this is something I think they'll definitely be into. So as we slowly start to close out, can you share any more thoughts you have on the future of DeFi or on-chain finance and in general?
Yeah, just to close, I think the vision and the mission, I've never been more excited about this. Just in the last few weeks where we've learned about these new US bank accounts, Coinbase already has this in the Coinbase wallet, and there's a couple wallet providers that have those in the wallet already where if you have a Coinbase mobile wallet, you can just go get a bank account through the same partner through Bridge. But we asked the Bridge team, we're like, could we put this into the Moonwell app directly so you don't have to use a wallet? Because a lot of people don't want to install another app, right, just to use on-chain finance, especially these people that are just coming in to our website, have never used it for the first time. And so the thing that's really exciting to me is that we can kind of now start to envision the future, the vision, the mission that I talked about earlier of, bringing finance and governance on chain. And then basically, the Coinbase and Base mission of increasing economic freedom in the world and bringing 1 billion users on chain, you can start to see that. And then the thing that I think maybe a lot of people don't realize is that, there's always been this question of like, are people trying to build a bank on chain, right? And the answer I would give is no, we're not building a bank on chain. Where it's like that. Have you ever seen Back to the Future 2, where it's like where we're going, we don't need roads, and like the car flies, right? I think, yeah, it's like where we're going, we don't need banks, right? Like you'll be able to transact 24/7 on chain. You don't have to wait for banker's hours to go get your money out of the bank. You don't have to go drive to an ATM to get your cash. You'll just be able to use an app on your phone, and you can load the card in seconds. You can get paid, and it's available in your wallet in minutes. And I think it takes a few hours for an ACH, or a few days for an ACH, or like 30 minutes for a wire. And so, there's still a bank in the back end that's processing those stablecoin conversions. But like to the average person, that all just disappears, and they're just able to use on-chain finance and interact 24/7 with their money and get paid and go shop and do all the things that everyone wants to do. And I could be more bullish on America and how that's going to supercharge the economy here in America by having all that remote workforce, like the best knowledge workers in the world, the most, there's so many smart, and just, from on a personal level, by meeting all these contributors in Brazil, in Asia, in Europe, and in Canada and Australia, our social media manager and all the international communities are managed by Crizzled, who you probably know from Twitter he lives in Australia. And all these people that I've met, like, I just know it's going to change their lives, because, even the devs that can get paid in crypto that are working for projects like Moonwell, it's great for them. They can get paid in crypto, but I'm pretty sure they have, dozens of friends that would love to have a US job and get paid in dollars and improve the lives of them and their families and their loved ones. And so it just means a lot to me on a personal level. And that's core to the mission and the vision that we have in the Moonwell community. So I'm appreciative of people like you, Will, who are kind of sharing this message with your audience, because I think you also see that vision and mission of like just improving the lives of everyone in the world. I mean, there's a ton of smart people in places like Nigeria. I get emotional about this, but anyway, I don't want to talk too long. That would benefit from this, right? And so I think that's Jesse's mission on the base team, if you watch some of his content too. So anyway, but thank you for all your support, and happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah to all of the people out there, whatever you. I just hope everyone has a great holiday season, and I'm really grateful for all the hard work in the Moonwell community that's gotten us this far. And I couldn't be more bullish on 2025 and what's going to happen the next few months.
Definitely. I'm bullish on 2025, crypto, Moonwell, on-chain finance, all of it. So I appreciate you, Luke. If you stay backstage just a moment, and then I'll shut this stream down. Thank you once again.
Thanks, Will.
Yep. Hey, y'all. So very powerful educational episode. So again, share this with some friends, share this with a fam. For anyone who's interested on Web3, on-chain finance, and what you can do with your crypto, you got it all here on this podcast. This is spreading around the world. There's stablecoin usage, and all of the things we talked about. It's been amazing. So again, make sure y'all like this video, subscribe, and if you're listening to the audio version, download this episode on Apple and Spotify, Deezer, and the rest of the platforms. Once again, we appreciate you. See Will with the Passive Income Network. Until the next time, peace. Passive income, gold in my dental. Thank God for my mental. Investor fundamentals, told my